Hello, Elkhorn football families. Um, Coach Galani here, just trying to bring you some clarity on what our 2022 offseason program is going to look like. We're going to cover a bunch of different aspects of how we're going to move forward, and I wanted to go through each one of them with you. So, here are the goals of our offseason competitive program. Obviously, we want to do things that are going to bring us together as a team as much as we can for those who are available. We want to increase athletic attendance or the athlete attendance in the off-season workouts. My expectation with those workouts are if you are not in a sport, which we encourage you to be in, that we want you to be there every day from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, Monday through Thursday. And if you miss a lift, you have Friday to make it up. So that's our expectations with the off-season workouts. Obviously, if you're in a sport comes first. We're going to develop leadership abilities, and I'll explain how we do that. Increase the athlete's strength, speed, and quickness. That's a great byproduct of how we move forward with our off-season program. We're going to hold players accountable for actions in all areas of their lives, and we're going to improve the competitive nature of players while building team unity and camaraderie. The biggest thing about our weight room is we're trying to um, provide a culture and an environment that all are welcome, not just football players, but all athletes that are in the high school. We want them to be a part of our program moving forward. So, how the program works, we are going to divide. Well, the first aspect is we're going to create a leadership council. What the leadership council does is we will meet there will be an application for to be a part of the leadership council. I'll show you that here in a second. But basically, this application is a blind application. It's something that where you don't put your name on, and you'll answer a couple questions, and then they will be handed in to Coach Jewell at school. Coach Jewell will number them, keep it completely anonymous, and then give to the varsity staff of coaches, and we'll kind of sift through them and figure out which ones we want to be our 5 to 7, depending on how many we have, um, captains for the offseason. And what happens when we start with the offseason leadership council is that we will start meeting on Wednesdays virtually, and each week the kids will have kind of a little bit of homework. They'll have some questionnaires or some reading to do, and we'll discuss how to become better leaders. And these kids will turn into our leadership council. The leadership council will be who I go to first for advice on how they want to handle certain situations that affect the team. Um, it really does a great job of us kind of policing each other, and not really all all decisions have to come down from me. I want to have the open, transparent conversation or communication between our kids, and this is one form of it. Each After we get those team captains a part of the leadership council, we will draft teams, and that'll be all kids that are at this point wanting to play football next season. Um, Hopefully, we have anywhere from 10 to 12 players in each team. Um, the team members will be responsible for making sure, or the team captains, making sure teammates have rides to weight room sessions and other events to earn team points, as well as providing necessary tutoring or academic help for teammates. Um, Everything that we do requires or you will earn points based on what you're doing for our program and in your daily life, and those points will be added to each team for basically incentives at the end of the season. So one of the first things that we'll talk about is our community service. Um, I think this is super important that we continue to give back to the community that is such a giving community to begin with. I think there's a reason why family members and parents want to live in Elkhorn. It's one of the reasons why I came back, is I know that this is a phenomenal place to live and raise a family, and very, very giving um, community, and we need to give back. So basically, we in order to accrue points for community service, there will be a sheet that will be given out through the Google Classroom. That sheet needs to be filled out. If it's not already something that's been approved by me, that we already know about. For example, this Saturday we have a powerlifting competition, and I sent out an email for anybody that can come be a spotter for kids that are lifting weights and shuffling weights around and things like that. That's giving back to your community. If you do that, you'll get hours of community service. They need to be signed off by whoever's supervising, and every hour, points will be earned at a rate of 5 points per hour. And you need at least 10 points for your team to be considered for off-season awards, and that means 10 points from every team member. Um, so teams are encouraged to work together, communicate together, and what they can do for community service and things like that. So I will be also communicating pretty regularly with the team to let everyone know where community service opportunities are, because I have entities that are coming to me all the time. So this is kind of what it looks like. You would write down what the organization is, the date, the hours that you were there, the supervisor's information, whether it be a phone number, an email address, and then they need to sign it. Again, you can find it on the Google Classroom. So, and with that being said, parents, if you know of opportunities in the community that we could help out with, please don't hesitate to send an email and let me know. One of the next aspects of our off-season competition program is our weight room. Obviously, the product that we see on the field doesn't start in August. It's a year-round thing, and we need to be working hard in the weight room. And our goal is to work hard together. So currently, if you are in a sport, you are accruing points for being in that sport. You actually get more points for being in the sport than you do to be coming to the weight room 4 days a week. So here's how the point system works. For the first day you get 1 point, 2 days you get 2 points, 3 days 3 points, 4 days 4 points. We add those all up and we get 10. You get 12 points a week if you're in a sport. And once that sport ends and it's completed, the expectation is that you're back into the weight room. So if you are currently in a winter sport and then you're not doing a spring sport, or you haven't decided to do a spring sport yet, we expect you to be in the weight room when that winter sport is done. If you're going right from sport to sport, there might be some downtime between those sports. We would expect you to be in the weight room as well. The big thing is that we're lifting together, and 2, we're moving in a direction that's going to make us better for August, make us more aggressive, more fast, speed, all those things. They come when we're competing against each other in the weight room. Another aspect of our weight room is we will talk about testing improvement. For each area the athlete improves from one testing date to the next, the athlete will earn an additional 5 points for their team. So when you show growth and you're going up, you will earn more points for your team. An athlete will not lose points if there's no improvement for the team or a decrease. Next aspect is we're going to be talking about academics. Every grading period, so midterm and term, I pull all the grades for all the kids that are on my list, and this is how the points go. So again, 20 points is the highest possible based on 5 classes. I'm not going to give extra for honors or AP. Basically, an A is 4 points, every B is 3, every C is 2, and then you get into negative points with D's and F's. This will be monitored throughout the whole school year. And then as we keep progressing, points just keep getting added and added and added. And so that's also a part of how we're going to be communicating with our team leaders, and that leadership committee is going to be given reports of how teammates are doing and where kids might need help. And so tutoring might be available and things like that. So that's academics. Discipline is very similar. I run reports. We didn't have very many discipline things to deal with last year, but it is something that I monitor. And you can see where this is obviously going to deduct points if we are having discipline problems in school. The biggest thing is that's not how Elkhorn football wants to represent itself. If we're going to be disciplined or have disciplinary actions going on in school, we need to be disciplined on and off the field. And that's why this is a holistic approach. This is about everything that we're doing. So again, this is how the discipline works for our program moving forward in the off season. So as I said before, if you are in another sport or activity, and those are WIA sanctioned sports. I know we do have some guys in rugby and lacrosse, and at some point I have to draw the line of where we're going to accrue points and not. It's not to slight those sports, but um, when we stay structured to a WIA sport, we kind of are on the same playing field. So that's why I have to draw the line at some point. But if you are involved in a WIA sport or activity, you will be awarded 12 points a week. So my incentive is to get kids more out for sports. Obviously, we want kids in the weight room if they're not out for sports, but I want to see multi-sport athletes in this program. I think that's very important, and it's intuitive to winning programs. As you see some of the consistent programs in the state that consistently win, there's a very common theme that they have multi-sport athletes, and we're not just specializing in football. The next aspect of our off-season program is our school spirit. Basically, everyone's going to be issued a punch card, and I'll show you the punch card on the next slide. These punch cards are to promote the one herd mentality. I think it's important that we support athletes at this school, and not only athletes, but people that are in drama and any type of club where there would be an event that spectators would come and watch. So I just had a couple kids go to the band concert before break, and that's what this is all about: supporting all Elkhorn area school students. So basically, what's going to happen is each activity you go to is worth 2 points. Your card's going to have 10 spots. All you need to do is stay at that event until the event is over. The entire faculty knows about this, and so they know how to handle what to do when they see this card. So this is the card, and all that would happen is you'd put the date, or they would put the date, whoever's signing your card, and they would initial their initials. Once they fill up the card, you'd give it to me or another coach in the building. We would give you another card to fill up that card. Any adult that is working the event can sign off on these at the end of the event. The one caveat is it needs to be an event that you are not currently in. So, for example, if you're a freshman basketball player and you're a boy playing freshman boys basketball, if you go to the varsity basketball game after your freshman basketball game, that's not what this is about. That's a program expectation. I'm sure Coach Scatrud would want you to be there. But if you went to see a girls game and you stayed to the end of that varsity event, that's exactly what this would entail. It could be anything that you're not currently in. It could be wrestling or whatever, but it needs to be something that you're not currently engaged in. And again, just like everything else, once you fill this up, you get 20 points for your team by giving the card into a coach, and then you get a new card moving forward. So the individual rewards are, the goal is that we get a lot of these things from doing the things that are expected of us. So obviously, going to the weight room and working out and being a part of a sport, we're increasing our strength, our speed, agility. We're trying to have a sense of team camaraderie. That's why we want to lift together when we are in the weight room. We're trying to have a competitive nature with all the things that we do. So holding people accountable. If you have a teammate that you know is on your team in the off season, and then they're slacking in the classroom or they're getting in trouble, you can step up and be a leader. And again, the reward is that we're moving forward together. And if someone's doing something that's going to hinder our sports, our off-season team, then you can step up and be a leader and try to help. Obviously, we want to improve academic standing and the satisfaction of providing community service to his community that's given so much to you. So those are the individual rewards. The team rewards, again, there will be 3 segments: the middle of second try, the end of school, the middle of third try, and summer. Each segment will have a winner based on points. There will also be an overall winner for the entire program. The winners last year got mini helmets with their numbers on it that looked exactly like our helmets. They also got a personalized sweatshirt that was a very high-end Under Armour sweatshirt. So each year we'll have different prizes. Um, there's no punishment for losing, but the goal here is that we want to be competitive as possible with everything that we're doing. A couple off-season dates that are important that I want you to know about. The first thing here is we have open gyms starting at 1 to 2 o'clock. Those are open to anybody. That's for our youth players. Basically, grades 3 through 8 are going to be offered to come during that time. I would love our high schoolers to participate in helping us coach the younger kids. Um, and then from 2 to 3, we'll have open gyms for our high schoolers, where a lot of times the youth coaches will will coach, and if we run out of the youth coaches during those times, the kids will just play 7-on-7 and do some things that are drill specific that they can handle on their own. Obviously, we can't coach them at that time, but we are opening the gym at those times to to allow them to come in, starting on February 13th and going for 4 weeks in a row. The next aspect that I wanted to make you aware of is that the WFCA Combine is on April 30th. It is at next level. Um, Again, I'm going to be sharing this document out, so you can click here to register. It is important that you understand the cost. First up, as I put at the bottom, I said I would only recommend spending the money and attending if you are serious about playing college football. Um, the cost is $60, but realistically, if you really want to get recruited and you're trying hard to get your name out there, it's best that you spend the $125. And then they set you up with a recruiting profile that's done by Epic Recruiting Player Profiles. It's a very good value. Usually that alone costs $170, and they're combining both and giving it to you for $125. The earlier you register, the better. It is a very well run event. Many of our coaches have gone and worked at the event, which is, again, it's a great experience. You can really see kind of where you're at. Again, I wouldn't go if you're not serious about playing college football. It's that simple. And realistically, it's more driven towards the junior senior athlete. Okay, can freshmen and sophomores go? Absolutely, if you want to, but realistically, this is trying to get that college ready kid some more exposure. And then lastly, we have two more slides here. Um, I want to make everyone aware that on January 11th, which is next week, summer school registration is going to open. Um, there is a link right here and showing you how to register. Mrs. Saunders will be sending this information out to you along with Ms. Dodge. Um, Pretty straightforward, but I do want you guys to be aware that we want to sign up for particular classes. The goal is that we are all signed up for the 6:30 a.m. class, which runs from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Again, the goal is to have everyone be in there together and compete together. On January 25th, summer school registration closes. So remember, summer school is a first come first serve thing. We do allow pretty high numbers in that 6:30 class. So we want you to be in that class. If you don't get in that class, I'll put you in that class. So again, it's something that is an expectation of the program moving forward. Also, parents, summer football camp is from July 11th to July 14th. It's the week right after the 4th of July week. Um, it'll be youth camp before us, and then the varsity and the high school camp right after. I'll get you times. It'll be in the PM, just like it was last year. I'll get those times as we get closer to those dates. On the 14th, after practice, we'll probably have a team cookout, and then we will do our overnight lock-in like we did before in the high school, which is a good time. The kids had a really good time. So, and here, lastly, is our schedule. Um, we do have a conference change. Basically, the trickle down from the Sun Prairie schools splitting was Delavan was leaving our conference and going to the to the conference with Whitewater and East Troy and um, all of them, like a little bit smaller schools, which makes sense for them football wise. Um, and Beloit Memorial was coming into our league. Now, um, I felt strongly about keeping Delavan on our schedule. It is a rivalry game. It will be week one from now on moving forward, and that is a trophy game, which we have not lost a trophy, and we lost that game in 4 or 5 years. So it's something that I deemed important for our program to continue to play Delavan. It will be week one at Delavan for the varsity, and it will be home for just our JV. Remember, freshmen only play 8 games, so their schedule is the same as the JV after week one. Um, and that's moving forward. Our scrimmage is still to be determined. We're still looking, and we possibly will scrimmage West Ellis Hale again, but we don't have anything in writing. We're still working on scheduling that to what best fits our needs. So, again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me at my email. I will provide some of this stuff as links on the email that I send, but it will all be available on this slideshow that you can see after you're done watching. So, again, we'll talk to you soon, and go Ops.